All right, welcome everybody to Facebook. We'll be going to the show in just a few minutes. This is Steve Ray. Our guest tonight is going to be Derrick Riches. To my left is Jeff Maxwell on the Jeff Cam and Aaron Carver to my right producing the show. We are thrilled, absolutely thrilled to death to have Derrick with us tonight. We're going to be talking about what kind of grill do you need? Should be a lot of fun. Start sharing us. If you're watching, jump in there and share us to your page. We'd appreciate that. All that good stuff. We simulcast, broadcast on WGOW Talk Radio 102.3 here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you want to listen to us on the radio, you can go to WGOW.com and just click on the Listen Live icon, and you'll be in the loop. Aaron's got them all shared. We'll be going live. Hey, don't forget, everybody, set your clocks ahead this weekend. Don't forget to do that Sunday morning at 2 o'clock. This is the one, if you mess up, you're late. This is the big one. This is the big one. And Pro Shop in Ottawa.
Talk Radio 102.3.
Welcome to the weekend and welcome to The Barbecue Show with Steve Ray. The Barbecue Show is brought to you by the Al's Barbecue Supply and Pro Shop in Ottawa, by the historic Midnight Oil Service Station in Ottawa, by Michelin Tires, because so much is riding on your time, and by all the great barbecue products and supplies at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply and Pro Shop. I know you've got questions and we've got answers, so pick up the phone, 423-267-1023, and let's talk some barbecue. All right, welcome everybody to the Barbecue Show live here on Talk Radio 102.3. I'm your host, Steve Ray. Back in the studio, Joe Varner helping us produce the show on radio here in the Owl's Nest Barbecue Studios is Jeff Maxwell monitoring the Facebook chat, and Aaron Carver monitoring the radio broadcast. Our number is 267-1023. If you're out of state, 423-267-1023. I know you've got some questions. We're going to be introducing our guest in just a moment. Our broadcast partner is Backyard Smokers Barbecue on Facebook, the number one destination for questions, answers, and even if you want to post some pictures and do a little bit of bragging, go to Backyard Smokers Barbecue. We're in touch, so you be in touch. Follow us on Owl's Nest Barbecue on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. And don't forget, the Owl's Nest Barbecue podcast is available on Spotify. 267-1023. Real quick note, University of Tennessee beat Florida today, 78-66, and they will be playing Alabama tomorrow at 1 o'clock. You can catch all the action right here on the Talk Monster with Bob Kessling and Burt Bertelkamp at 1 o'clock as Tennessee takes on the Crimson Tide. And don't forget, this weekend, this is the one, this is the big one. This is the big one. You change your clocks and you move them forward 1 hour before you go to bed Saturday night. Because if you mess this one up, you're late. This is the big one. So don't be late. We have got a fantastic show. Have you ever wondered what kind of grill you really need? If you're in the market for a grill and you think, you know, the last time I bought a grill was 10 years ago. And there wasn't this kind of a choice. You know, you went down to your Ace Hardware somewhere and there was a gas grill and you just bought it. Or you went to Home Depot or one of the big box stores and there's a gas grill and you just bought it. But now that gas grill, you've left it outside, you haven't used it that much, and it's rusted out and it fire's uneven, and you say, I need a new grill. Well, we're going to help you tonight. We're going to help you buy that grill. And the person that I thought of immediately when I was putting the show together is a 25-year live fire cooking veteran, an industry insider, a barbecue journalist. He is a prolific author of 2 books, One, the Rotisserie Grilling Cookbook, and my favorite book, Kebabs 75 Recipes, both available at Amazon and at your favorite bookstore. Chattanooga and Ooltewah, I give to you Derrick Riches from DerrickRiches.com, all the way from Austin, Texas. How you doing, Derrick?
Good. How you doing, Steve?
Oh, we're doing great. So I'm so happy that you took time to spend with us here in Chattanooga tonight. Have you ever been to Chattanooga?
I haven't. I've been all around it, but I haven't actually been into Chattanooga yet.
Well, this is a place you need to put on your bucket list.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe
Definitely.
we can get you here one Friday night. We'll have you up here in the new Owl's Nest Barbecue Studios.
Hey, that'd be a lot of fun.
Here up on White Oak Mountain. Let's talk a little bit about grills, Derrick. Now, if you go to DerrickRiches.com, Derrick is his website is second to no one's as far as content regarding barbecue, reviews, recipes, industry news. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? All that kind of stuff. So, Derrick, let's do a little bit of background first and kind of qualify you to everybody. What is the most impressive grill you have ever cooked on, no matter what the cost was?
Boy, that's kind of a big question. I've cooked on, I've cooked on a gas grill that lists at about $30,000. It's really impressive. I mean, it's a gas grill, but it also will run, hardwood and charcoal and all that sort of stuff. It's completely plate stainless steel construction, but kind of pricey.
$30,000.
Yeah.
Good heavens.
You'd be surprised how many they sell. It's impressive, but I think a lot of the more impressive stuff is a lot of custom units and stuff that people have made over the years. That, and I like, I was like a new grill. I like a grill that, I haven't cooked on Argentinian style grills. A lot of open flame. I like real fire. I like hardwood. Particularly when I'm grilling, just kind of open, no lids, none of that sort of stuff. You just direct with the fire. And to me, that's kind of like the pure passion of live fire cooking.
I know your grill reviews are famous, and you're one of those guys that if they can get a grill if these companies can get a grill into your hand, they for a review, they hope that you like it because they know that leads to sales. What's the most expensive grill that you ever grilled on that didn't impress you? And you can name names. We're all among friends here.
It's only just us.
Well, yeah, it's just us. Nobody's listening. People in Georgia might be. There's a line of grills from a company called Sabre. It's actually a subdivision of Charbroil, and I spent like 6 months with a $3,000 unit they had. And it was okay. I mean, it was pretty mediocre all in all. I mean, they bill it as infrared and very powerful, but it was fine. At that kind of price range to kind of be underwhelmed to me is not, that's a problem. But
what was it?
Happens.
What was about the grill, Derrick, that was unimpressive?
Well, they were shooting for kind of this high intensity infrared, but I've had other, I've had $200 gas grills that would get hotter.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was, in all honesty, there wasn't a lot of cooking experience to it. It was kind of slow. There was no excitement to it. And it didn't really provide it much in the way of like any type of like flavor or anything. It was like you were cooking in your oven. And if you're doing outdoor cooking,
I want to get back to that infrared thing in just a little bit. I've got it in my notes for a little bit later in the show because the experience that I've had with infrared was sort of like yours. It was underwhelming to say the least.
Yeah.
Let's go best grill, popular price. We're going to talk about popular price grills tonight. It's fun to talk about the $30,000, $25,000 grills and all that kind of stuff. But for 90, what they call us, the 99 percenters, that's probably out of our reach.
Out of my reach.
It's out of my reach too. The best grill, popular price that you've cooked on.
I mean, as far as consistency goes, in a gas grill,
Yeah, we're
uh,
doing gas right now.
it's hard to go. It's hard to go wrong with the Weber Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of been the grill to have for what is it now? 35 years. It You get a consistent performance. It's easy to take care of. It's easy to keep clean, and it performs well. And for the average person who wants to be able to cook up some steaks or burgers, it's a great unit. The bottom end comes in about, I think it's about 750. I know it's a little bit more than you want to pay, but when you start getting down below that, particularly in this day and age now, there's been a lot of change in gas grills. You start getting into grills that are kind of more problematic. What I like about, particularly the bottom end of the Weber Genesis line is it's a very simple grill. There's nothing else to it. There's no extras. And so you're not paying for gadgets and gimmicks that you're really not going to get any use out of. You just get a better quality out of the product.
Derrick, are you a fan of those side warmers and the side eyes that you can, warm up sauce or melt butter or, fry bacon on the side if you don't want to fry it on the grill?
I'm a fan of a good side burner.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the ones you find on a lot of grills are underpowered. They don't give you a lot. They're mounted on kind of flimsy side tables. If you can get one that, in the 15,000 BTU range or, that's got a solid fixturing to it, I think they're great. And I like the fact that, you can take stuff outside that you may not want to cook inside, or maybe there's a reason you can't use your kitchen. Having that kind of as a backup, I think, is great. We recently here in Texas lost power and water, and that's something that comes really in handy. And there are certain fish fries that I might do that the wife would prefer I take outdoors. So, I like it from that standpoint, but if you're not going to use it, don't pay for it. That's just my thing. If you're not going to use it, don't pay for it.
What about, do you think people, when they buy a grill, they tend to overbuy as far as size? I've got a Genesis, and I find myself grilling on the same spot on the right all the time. I very seldom use the left side of the grill.
Well, it depends on your family and, who you're cooking for. But I think for most of us, most grills are probably twice as big as they need to be.
I think you're right. I don't think people use all the space. They look at cubic inches, and I think they just don't use enough.
Well, I think one of the things that kind of irritates me is that a lot of big chain stores and stuff, they have these really big grills and they've got like 5-6 burners on them. And I want you to think about the fact that you're cooking on this and you've got all these burners to turn on, turn off, light, adjust. It's just kind of ridiculous. And usually they're really underpowered burners that are covering a much smaller space. So more burners isn't better. More space isn't better. But it gets marketed as better. It's like more power and that's what's going to kind of sell it. And once you get a little bit of experience, you realize that's kind of just not true.
Yeah, the bigger the better. What is the least impressive popular price grill that you've cooked on?
The least impressive popular price?
Oh man, I thought this was going to work better.
I usually know what I'm getting myself into with a grill. And I don't have a very high bar for expectation in a lot of gas grills, because they're pretty standard now. It's like as consistent as most microwaves or so. I had a charcoal grill that I got in about 2 years ago. It was supposed to be this nice, impressive stainless steel unit, from a company called IG Charcoal, and it was real flimsy. It didn't hold up well, and when I got a good fire going in it, it started to kind of warp and bend, and I started getting worried about it just toppling over.
Oh my.
But that'll happen. I mean, there are grills that just they're not put on the right legs or something like that. And that's why, it's like when you're shopping for a grill, that's what I would suggest is just grab a good hold of the handle and just give it a good shake. Rattle it around. I mean, I've broken them before doing this, but that's the store's problem, not mine. But, just kind of get a feel for how solid it is. Is it going to fall over? Is it, is it that flimsy? You don't want that kind of in your backyard, particularly if you've got a lot of kids running around.
Our number is 267-1023. 267-1023. We were talking with author and barbecue expert Derrick Riches from Austin, Texas. And feel free to call in if you've got a question about what kind of a grill you think you might need. We'll be glad to entertain those questions. And also in the chat, if you've got a question, Jeff's here monitoring the chat, and we will always go to that, and we entertain all the questions for Derrick. We're going to take a real quick break, Derrick. When we come back, we're going to talk about the most exotic grill you've ever cooked on, the simplest grill, and then we're going to get into the types of grills for particular fuel that you think are best. All that and some more here on the Barbecue Show Live on Talk Radio 102.3. Stay with us. Good. Good segment, Derrick.
Well, greatest coming through.
Most
exotic grill I've ever cooked on.
Yeah, I was going to give you time to think.
What's yours?
Oh, okay.
Exotic grill? Oh gosh, I'm
not sure where to go with that. Let's see.
I've never cooked on an exotic grill.
Cooked on some weird ones.
It's probably the weirdest one I've ever used.
Yeah, that's a good grill. I've never cooked on it, but did that already die there? Here?
But I put up.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I wish I could figure that out. We need to figure that out.
For a simple thing, that's a good cooker.
Jeff and his partner cooked some wings on a La Caja China, one of those boxes, and that was kind of a cool.
It's a lot of wings.
That was a lot of wings. It was a pretty good sized festival.
Yeah,
and they
those
were
do
really
whole
good.
hogs.
They were really good too. I mean, they were really good.
Yeah, if I'd have put them on risers, it'd have been better. Sean helped me with that. Get some crispy. It's a good cooker.
Yeah, it's a real good cooker.
Yeah.
Its problem was the cook.
I've never. I mean, Derrick, you've cooked on so many. I mean, more grills than probably anybody ever.
Well, it's possible.
Jeff Rice, maybe.
Ricer.
Yeah, right.
If Ricer, if somebody sent him a big lighter in a check, you'd be seeing a brisket done over a big lighter.
I've cooked by blowtorch before, but
yeah, I've seen that done.
Yeah,
I've seen Jeff Ricer do that too.
I have as well.
I've got one of those things. I can't ever make mine work though.
I finished off with it actually. I haven't cooked the whole, whatever protein, but I've finished it off to put a crisp on it.
Derrick, did you ever go down to that thing in South Carolina that oh gosh, what's the name of it? Where they cook all those weird animals. That guy was on. You know what I'm talking about? He was on TV one time, and they cooked a whole cow.
Yeah.
And did you ever get invited to that thing?
I haven't been in. I went by that once. I was kind of in the area, and I was able to kind of spend a couple hours, but I had to be somewhere. So, but yeah, I've known people that it's like, what's the weirdest thing I could possibly come up with to cook? And a friend of mine used to always do like, man, get these big alligators and cook them. I mean, just 8-foot gators, and he just thought that was the coolest thing in the world to cook.
I forget what that thing's called. They put them on that big, like a big cross, and they
Find out more. WG.
Yeah.
lean it over the fire. All right,
Great.
That's that's an Argentinian method.
The Talk Monster.
All right, we're back. This part of the show, the barbecue show live here on Talk Radio is brought to you by Butcher Barbecue and all the great products from David Bosca and the good folks at Butcher Barbecue Products from Chandler, Oklahoma. And, of course, they are all available at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply in Ooltewah. That's where I live during the week. We're talking with author and barbecue expert Derrick Riches here on the show. And just the best segment's always when we're at a commercial break. Derrick, the most exotic grill you have ever cooked on?
I've cooked on some strange custom ones, but I had a grill once. Someone had sent it to me. I think it retailed for probably about $20 back in the day. It was just a metal bucket. It actually collapsed down. You pulled it up, and it had a cooking grate on the top of it, and a couple of holes in the bottom. And you took 7 sheets of newspaper, and you rolled them up, and you put them in there, and you lit them on fire, and then you put burgers on top of it. And the grease from the burgers would keep the fire burning. And I didn't know really what to think. I tried it a couple of times. It worked really well, but it was like you're cooking on newspaper and grease.
And what's funny, you just answered my next question. What's the simplest grill you ever cooked on?
That might very well.
That's the one.
That's pretty well. Other than like a grate over a campfire, which I grew up with. But yeah, this was kind of like a strange thing. But apparently, there was a company making them, and they were selling them. But it really was only good for cooking hamburgers because you needed to cook something that cooked really quickly and had a lot of fat content to it.
Sounds like it. Hey, 267-1023, that's our number if you've got a question about any kind of a grill. We've got the guy you've been waiting for, Derrick Riches from Austin, Texas, Barbecue Extra. Tom Ehed's got a question for him off the chat.
He was wondering, what is your go-to grill? Is it gas, pellet, or an offset? What's your favorite to cook on?
My go-to grill, I have it's now about 28-year-old Weber kettle. And that's kind of like what I will just fire up for myself or for, just basic cooks when I'm not trying to test anything or anything like that. It's just, it works really, really well. I've had it forever. I know it really well. And to me, I don't know. The smell of burgers over charcoal is like literally the smell of summer to me. Mm-hmm. And so that, kind of like something I've grown up with. I mean, when I was a kid, we had, a Kamado grill that should actually come from Japan. And I have a big green egg, and I use that quite a bit. I really like the Kamado grills, but my go-to cook is charcoal. Sometimes a mixture of like hardwood in that, but that's where I go.
I guess I'm the only person in the world that has never owned a Weber kettle. I've never had one.
I've owned one since I was 18 years old.
Never had one.
Probably the only one then. I think so.
I know. Okay, we talked about some gas grills, and Tom, thanks for that question. We appreciate you watching on the Facebook side of things. We talked about some gas grills. Okay, let's go to line 1. We've got Robert on the phone. Robert, you're on line 1. 2 lines open here on Talk Radio 102.3. Go ahead, Robert.
Thank you, sir. First of all, for taking my call. I do a lot of grilling, cooking out, and smoking and stuff, and I've got a older, I say old, 20, 25-year-old turkey fryer. It's all stainless steel, real heavy duty. Even the stand is stainless steel, and it had a. And I've used it several times, but it has a knob to turn the heat up and down in between the propane tank and the burner, so I don't have to use my tank all the time to turn it up or down or whatever. And it gives me a better, cleaner burn and whatever. But and it went bad on me, and I cannot find one anywhere. I've looked on the internet, I've looked everywhere, and it looks like a regulator, but it's got a knob on the top that controls the input output of the propane. Do you have any idea where I might find one?
Boy, that's the whole turkey fryer thing took off big, about 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it did.
And there was a lot of units that went out there. And one of the big problems is a lot of people had a lot of catastrophes with them. And so it's not necessarily that there was like regulation put on them, but a lot of manufacturers started going, we have to come up with better safety features. And so kind of one of the things that got eliminated was an adjustment near the unit itself. And so I'm not sure that anyone makes that anymore. If you want to get in touch with me, email or on Facebook or something like that, I can see if I can track something down for you along those lines, though. I know what you're talking about.
Well, it's not a great big deal. Long I can regulate between the tank and the burner, but
Yeah.
I use it a lot now. Not for turkey frying, but I use mine a lot for canning. Boiling.
Oh yeah.
And with water and stuff in it, and what they call them, country low boil, whatever.
Yeah.
All right,
And
well,
they're
that
great for
works
that.
for me. I guess that answers. I think I'll just go back to just using my tank to control the heat. Well, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Steven's on line too. Go ahead, Steven.
I am fascinated by these pellet smoker grill combos. I don't know where to begin. I've never even smoked before. Where do I start?
Good question. Derrick.
Are you talking about the units that have a pellet grill on one side and like a gas grill or something on the other side, or just you talking about a pellet grill?
That's a great question. I think I might just be talking about a pellet grill. I've seen ones that look good for someone like me who's never smoked things before, where it seems like it has a hopper and maybe it like automates to hold the temp.
Well, I mean, pellet grills are all the rage today. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, and some really, really good units. It depends on how much money you want to put down on one, because they'll go up to, well, actually now they go up to $7,500. But I think if as long as I would look for something in about a $700 price range, that's really where the good quality ones start coming in. I would recommend looking at, like Green Mountain Grills. I think Steve might know a little bit about those.
I do.
And, some of the not quite as cheap Traeger units, they've got a couple on the bottom end that aren't that great. I think it's a great place to start doing, smoking and barbecue, because they're very easy to operate, and it doesn't require a steep learning curve to kind of really master it. But yeah, there's a lot out there.
Derrick, I've seen, and Steven, I think I've seen the ones you're talking about. I was in Walmart a couple of days ago, and there was one that was I think it had a pellet cooker. It had a gas grill, and it also had an oven attachment that was on top that you could put meat all over this thing. And
both Pit
fuel.
Boss and Cuisinart have
that Cuisinart. I believe that's the one.
Yeah. I mean, Cuisinart has one unit. Basically, it'll do everything. It's pretty cheap, but I'm not a big fan of like the combination units, because once one thing starts going bad, you're kind of left with a really, really big piece of cooking equipment that you can only at best partially use. I do recommend just kind of keeping it simple, going straight for a basic pellet grill and working from there.
Yeah, I've seen these everywhere from Walmart, Target, big box stores.
Mm-hmm.
They're all over. There just seems to be so many, and I just feel kind of overwhelmed. And I get charcoal grills, I get gas grills. I really like what you had said about some people are buying too big of grill. You don't need it. And it's me and my wife and a couple kids. We cook burgers and hot dogs and some chicken. I don't need 12 burners and a side burner.
No.
I need to cook something. Tonight we cooked hot dogs on a stick over the fire in the backyard. It's great.
I'll give you another good example. Is one of the Blackstone they're all the rage too, the griddles. And then now you've got them that they have air fryers built into the bottom of them.
Yeah,
And it's I don't know if they work or not because I don't have one, but it just seems like there's an awful lot of stuff that they're putting on these things now that I think that it catches your eye, but then when you get home you never use it, and you could be cooking on a little 24 by 24 griddle instead of the 36 by 36 by 36 with the air fryers and the stereos and the
I know, it's insane.
and the Wi-Fi that come out of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen Blackstones being all the rage, and it's kind of missed with me because I look at it and I'm like, well, it's a frying pan outside. Like, I often
You're not
prefer
wrong.
just cooked in a pan. I love them just soaking up in that grease, and it's like, I don't know. I just the giant griddles have missed with me. Maybe I need more friends.
Well, I think for a lot of people it is kind of a mystery. You're absolutely right. I'd suggest you look around to see if you can't find a specialty barbecue store in your area. Go in and have a chat with them. I mean, these guys, this is what they do for a living, and they can give you some really good advice about what you can find, in your area.
Does that help, Stephen?
I really appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you. Joe, let's take a quick break. Who have we got on the line, Joe? Is that Robert?
We got Gary on line 1.
Gary, you hang on. We're going to take a real quick break. You're listening to Derrick Riches from Austin, Texas, barbecue expert and prolific author, and we'll be right back. So stay here on the Talk Station. 102.3. We'll be right back. What were you going to say, Jeff?
Blackstone. Derrick, do you have a Blackstone?
Yeah. Do I have a? Not currently. I had one for a while, and I kind of passed that off to someone else.
Well, I use mine to keep the heat out of the kitchen in the summer.
Oh, and it's
because if you do that, I have the Lodge stuff, so doing that on the grill, or on the stove, I set off my smoke alarm every darn time.
Well, sure.
No matter what. I mean, my smoke alarm is too close to the kitchen, so I use that outside, especially in the summer. Like when I'm doing tacos, or something like that, just to keep the heat out of the kitchen in the summer.
I have a. It's from actually a French company called Le Griddle, and they make basically griddles that'll fit into different grills, and I have a round one that fits my my kettle. And so I use that quite a bit for that sort of thing. And that's why I didn't kind of hang on to the Blackstone or any of the other flat tops I've had, because, again, I don't need that much space. I mean, often I cook for 2 people.
To me, they're just a pain to clean. That's all.
Yes, there is that.
All right, Joe. Thanks. Appreciate it. You're watching the Barbecue Show live here on Facebook. We'll be going back to the radio side of things in just a few minutes. Our special guest is Derrick Riches from Austin, Texas, expert barbecue. We're talking about grills. What kind of grills do you like? What kind do you need? If you're having a problem trying to find one, or decide what kind you want. I thought that was a good question that Stephen brought up with all the grills with all the different gadgets and different cook apparatus on them. It's the one I saw was just. It looked, I thought, now this is really cool, but that's about as far as I went as far as wanting one. Just said, this is cool, but trying to use it, I mean, you could never use everything on it. It was insane.
There's been a thing in the industry for quite a while now, and that is like, well, people can't make a decision. I mean, it was, when we used to always talk about the difference between gas and charcoal, which one do you want? Well, why don't we put both of them in one grill? Except that your gas grill rusted out and fell off, or whatever. And it's that idea that they can make one product that does everything for everyone. And to me, that's just, there's way too many things to just go wrong, and usually they're just not very well made.
No, I had a char griller though for years. It was offset on one side, a gas grill on the other side. I loved it. I loved it. The offset was terrible. That's where I learned how
had a fight with a
I
fire.
had a barbecue, and then it almost turned me away from barbecuing because it was, it was horrible to use. But the gas side worked pretty good.
That's what if I haven't delved into the pellet.
Talk 102.
Okay.
Talk Radio 102.3.
All right, we're back. Barbecue Show live here on Talk Radio 102.3 with our special guest from Austin, Texas. Is Derrick Riches joining us on the line. Let's go to Gary. He's on line 1. What's up, Gary?
Hey, I just heard one of your callers asking about a regulator or something for a turkey fryer.
Mm-hmm.
One place he might check is Walter A. Woods down on Rossville Boulevard. There used to be a guy that ran a little shop out the back of that building that did major custom hoses and regulators and stuff. I don't even know if he's still there or not, but I've had him make stuff for me. And it might be, he could check with that guy that, he might be able to help him out with something like that.
That's good info. I
All
like
right.
that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hope it helps. All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Gary.
you.
Joe, I forgot who we had up next. We got another caller on the line. They can go right ahead.
Brian on line 2.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I got 3 grills. I have a Oklahoma Joe Bandetta upright smoker that I've been playing with a little bit, and I kind of cook on it charcoal wise too. And then my daughter got me one of those Traeger Centurion 34s. I've had that for almost 2 years now, and I haven't taken it out of the box because I've been renovating my house and looking forward to setting that up. And then I just traded a $100 power washer for not the double extra large, but the extra large green egg grill. So I'm looking forward to all that. My wife says, "What are you going to do with all that?" I said, "Well, I don't know, but I'm planning on making some meat, Tell me about that Oklahoma Joe. I seem to kind of play with it a little bit. And what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, no, I actually quite like that. I mean, Oklahoma Joe's been kind of coming out with some interesting smoker designs in the last couple of years. And you're talking about one of the older models. Yeah, no, it's
weight 200 pounds. I mean, it's
oh yeah.
I've had to put real hinges on it, and then I made a wire basket to hold more charcoal and stuff like that, or to keep it contained to the area.
Yeah, they can use a little bit of modification. Particularly once you start getting into it a little bit more, but those things are solid steel. I mean, every single part on them is metal. That's one of the things I like about them.
What about that, my Traeger pellet grill? Am I going to enjoy that thing?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a lot easier to use, in many ways. And it's a great ability to, you can get some stuff cooking and you're not going to need to worry about it for a while. I would certainly break that out and get playing around with it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. This is like a second time I've tuned into your show. And is this a weekly show on Friday nights?
Yes, sir. Every Friday night at 7:00.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for calling. We
evening.
appreciate it. And that is sponsored by the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply and Pro Shop in Noodlewood, Tennessee. It's who brings you the Barbecue Show live every Friday night. 267-1023. We've got lines open to serve you. Derrick, talk about the infrared versus the traditional gas grill. And I'll just say, I had an infrared grill one time, and I'm not anywhere near your expertise, but I was so underwhelmed by the performance of the infrared. What do you find on the infrared versus the traditional?
Well, the first thing to know is there really is kind of two kinds of infrared. A million years ago, a guy named Bill Best built a gas-powered paint dryer and then realized that he could flip it up and he could cook steak on it. And that style of infrared will generate temperatures 1,000, 1,200 degrees. I mean, it's a super high temperature cooking method. And he held the patent for a long time, but when that kind of came out, everyone started putting out all these infrared grills, and a lot of them, they weren't even as powerful as a regular gas grill. And the burners were cheap, and they tended to break. If you're willing to spend the money for a really good infrared, then, it's a great high temperature cooking device. And you want to make, restaurant, quality steaks, you want to do that kind of high temperature cooking. It's a great way to do it, but it really hasn't been as popular in the last decade or so as it used to be. I think it's just kind of fallen by the wayside.
Let's go to James on line 1. 2 lines open at 267-1023. What's up, James?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. Had a quick question. Bought a pellet grill about a year ago, and like it so far, but I've noticed when we grill steaks on it, it comes out with a reddish tint, and the meat it tastes great, but it looks unappetizing. Is that something I'm doing wrong, or is that just a trade-off for using a pellet grill?
That's what you get for using something that produces that level of smoke. What you're getting is the smoke causes a chemical reaction in the meat itself, and that reddish tinge, that's actually in barbecue what we kind of call a smoke ring. Right. And it's just a natural chemical reaction in the meat itself, and you'll get that with anything you smoke. So yeah, on your pellet grill, that's just where that's coming from. It's perfectly safe. It's perfectly fine. It doesn't look quite like, what you see in a restaurant, but you got a smoky flavor to it, though.
Derrick, if he got grill grates and put them on that cooker, do you think would that help alleviate that problem?
Well, grill grates are going to give you a higher contact heat. It's going to allow you to cook your steak a little bit faster. The reason it's getting that coloring is because it's taking a little bit longer to cook, I'm guessing. So
that's interesting.
Grill grates would actually reduce the amount of time it's going to take you to cook because it transfers heat so much better. So you need less time on the grill, less smoke exposure, less of that coloring.
What kind of pellets are you using to cook those steaks with?
I'm sorry?
What kind of pellets? What flavor? Just curious. Just curious.
Hickory and pecan.
Okay. You mix them up?
No, I tried them separate.
Oh, okay.
But
hickory and pecan.
That makes sense. The smoke ring makes sense. I mean, you see it when you're smoking other things, brisket and ribs and things like that. So that totally makes sense. Sometimes it's not as appealing as you would like it when it comes off the grill, but it tastes pretty good.
You could go to a milder wood too, like a cherry. It won't give you the same smoke flavor. I mean, if that's, so you may not get quite as much of that.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for your time.
You bet. Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. And those cherry pellets are available at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply and Pro Shop in Ooltewah, Tennessee. All right, Derrick, we're going to have to skip over a lot of stuff. We appreciate everybody calling. 267-1023. We'll take all your calls. Let's go right to it. The best grill for the person I'm going to describe to you, okay, Derrick? And you tell me what you suggest for this person. I'm kind of generalizing the different personalities.
Okay.
So we'll go first with the backyard enthusiast. This person, him or her, 2 or 3 times a month they use their grill. Nothing more than just a steak and maybe an occasional of one of your favorites, a kebab. What do you think this person should have?
Given that, I would probably recommend a gas grill. They don't, that sort of person doesn't necessarily want to get that involved in things. If, it's quick, it's convenient, it's going to give you reliable results, and you should be able to fire it up, consistently every time.
And let's delve into that just a little bit more. Maybe what brand would you recommend? Maybe give them a choice between 2 if you can.
Brands I'd recommend. An approach, let's see. Well, I'm a big fan actually of Broil King grills. Mm-hmm. You can find a lot of those at your Ace Hardwares. They carry a pretty good selection. These are really quite affordable. actually most of them are made in North America, and they generate a really good heat to them. It's a Canadian company, and they build everything to cook in a Canadian winter. So, I said the Weber Genesis before, and pretty much anything you can find out of like Broil King is also a really good selection.
Real quick before the break, one of our listeners in the chat room said PK grill. What is your observation on that most unusual, underhyped grill? Because I love them. I love everything about them.
A huge fan of the PK grill. PK grill was actually developed in the late 40s, and the original guy who made them kind of just stopped and went out of business. And fans of that grill, they took castings of the original grills and they started making them again. They make them as good as they ever were. PK grill is just a phenomenal cooker. You cast aluminum, it lasts forever.
Yeah.
And it's got good heat retention. I mean, it's the reason why it's like the grill of choice for competition steak cooking.
They're fantastic. They're a little pricey.
They really are.
But
yeah, it's a little more expensive. I mean, you're looking about $250 for the basic, and you can go $700 for their really expensive,
you need to
slightly bigger one.
You need to add about $200 to the basic.
Yeah.
They're up there.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Prices have been going up.
I tried to sell those too, and I could. It's a hard product to sell. It's hard to convince someone that this charcoal grill that's this big, and I'm holding my hands 26 inches apart.
Yeah,
it's $550 with the cover. When they go to Walmart or they go to Sam's and they see the big seven burner stainless steel members mark for $299, it's hard to get them to.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, well, one of the things that's really hard to sell is to say, if you buy this grill, it might outlive you. And people are like, well, I don't care. It's like, okay, keep buying cheap grills every 2 years. But PK grill is phenomenal. I'm so glad that it's still around.
I bought a jar of pickles the other day at Sam's, and that thought went through my head too. I wonder if I'll outlive this jar of pickles. We'll be right back. We're going to take our last break of the night. You're listening to the Barbecue Show live with Steve Ray, our special guest, Derrick Riches from Austin, Texas. We'll be right back. 267-1023. Get on the line and give us a call. Oh, that was good. That was a good segment. Well, I appreciate everybody watching and listening on chat. Al Selvage, Tom Ehid, or Ehid. I think I pronounced that right. Tom Ehid. He loves those
fan
grill
of the grill grates.
Yeah, he loves those grates. I love those grates too, man. Those are fantastic. You ever flip yours over, Derrick? Use them for griddle?
Yeah.
They make
I have a stack of them somewhere. I've known Brad Barrett from there since he first started, and
they're only 60 miles south of us.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Down in Cartersville, great company, great customer service, real nice folks down there. When you call to make your order, they're super duper people.
Yeah, they've worked really hard to kind of get that launched and put a lot of effort into it. Out of what was kind of originally a side gig.
Well, they have done such a good job of individualizing those grates for the particular grills that are out there, and I'll compare them to the Barbecue Guru, another company that really stays on top of the different types of smokers, and adapts their product to your smoker. So all you got to do is, when you call in or order online, say, I've got a Weber a Weber kettle or a Weber bullet, whatever, and they'll send you exactly what you need. Grill grates is just like that too.
Yeah, well, they originally had like two sizes, and that was all they were going to go with. But they found out that people were cutting them to fit their big green eggs.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we can start doing that. And they actually talked with the Big Green Egg people and got all the exact measurements and specs for them and started marketing it that way.
I tell you, and you know what? The best thing about those, if you like to cook chicken wings like we do at the gas station, man, those things are great. You'll get no flare up when you're doing wings. You know, wings are a pain to cook because, especially if you get them hot and when you're trying to crisp them, man, it'll get away from you. It'll start a fire.
Yeah.
Not with those grill grates, man. It does a great job. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the grates. I love them.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone who didn't think that was just a vast improvement to their cooking.
And they've got that real cool brush too that you would like. It's a that wire. It's wire, but it's not the dangerous kind. I think you got one right behind your head there.
This is I have a whole box of them up here.
Yeah, there it is right there.
WGOW FM.
Okay.
Talk Radio 102.3.
All right, welcome back to the Barbecue Show Live with your host, Steve Ray, and our special guest, Derrick Riches. We got about 3-4 minutes left. Derrick, go ahead, Jeff. What's the question Perry has?
He wants to ask if he's played with pizza ovens on the grill.
Yeah, I've used a number of them. There's a guy I knew, actually, I worked with him for a little bit, came up with it's the pizza kettle insert that they made for kettle grills. And then he came up with another unit, which is just a big steel dome piece that will fit into almost any gas grill. You put this inside your grill and you put your pizza stone underneath. And 700-800 degrees, even the cheapest gas grills will generate phenomenal prices. But yeah, most particularly like gas grills, they just don't have kind of the power to get you a great pizza. Charcoal doesn't have a problem with that. I think a Big Green Egg is in itself the perfect pizza cooker.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of great units out there. So I've tried probably a dozen or more. So
if you have not tried pizza on the grill, you are missing it.
Yeah.
You are flat missing some good food.
Pizza needs 700 degrees to be perfect.
Kudos to our buddy Matt Frampton for making the different kind of doughs that he does, and kind of really taking that industry or that part of the industry and making it work. Let's see. Hey, let's go. Here's one. This was the last one. This is my barbecue hybrid. This guy is you've seen The Equalizer with Denzel, right?
Yeah.
Please tell me yes.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. This guy or gal is the neighborhood equalizer. I mean, he's a bad dude. Men want to be like him, women want to be with him, or vice versa. He's like the 007 of barbecue. What does this guy need, Derrick? The number one guy in the hood.
Probably needs it all. Yeah, you need that versatility. There's been some really kind of cool products that have been out there. There's one of the coolest things you can get, and it's kind of hard to get your hands on it because their supplies always sell right out. Carson Rodizio. It's a unit that will sit on almost any grill, and it's like a Brazilian steakhouse sort of scenario. Mm-hmm. It'll run 6 skewers simultaneously, and every time I put that out at a party, people are just like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So,
that's it.
We're talking accessories, not necessarily grills, but it's a really cool thing.
So that's what he needs. All right. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody listening to Derrick Riches. We got 1 minute left. Derrick, where can everybody go to find Derrick Riches and all the good stuff that you write about the barbecue industry?
You head over to derrickriches.com and you'll find me there, and you can get in touch with me if you have any questions. People write me all the time about what kind of grill they should get, and so that's how I spend my mornings.
Also, you can watch Derrick cook. He's quite a good cook too. So he likes to make his own rubs. You can catch him on YouTube as well. He's got a YouTube channel, and it is growing. It has far surpassed my YouTube channel. But my daughter's guinea pig YouTube channel has surpassed my YouTube channel.
It's hard to beat guinea pigs.
You can't compete with something that cute.
Yeah.
Derrick, thank
Right.
you so much. Hang on for the after show on Facebook. Joe, thank you so much. Jeff and Aaron, thank you all so much. And everybody, thank you in Chattanooga for listening to the Barbecue Show live here on Talk Radio 102.3. Tennessee and Alabama tip it off in the semifinals of the SEC tournament right here on the Talk Monster at 1 o'clock with Bob Kessling and Bert Bertelkamp. Until next Friday, we've got barbecue and baseball next Friday night right here on the Talk Monster. We'll see you then. Oh, good job. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate you. Derrick, Richard, you were just fantastic, man. I appreciate you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
What neat things are you working on? Any stories, or you get a new grill to cook on, or tell me about the Argentinian stuff you've got coming.
Yeah, I got a unit coming in next week, so I'm going to be cooking on that for a while. But this is not official. This isn't an official product yet. Mm-hmm. They're launching mid-April. So I'm going to get together some content on that and kind of coincide with their launch. But it looks impressive from what I've seen. So,
and is that going to have the big wheel that you turn to lower the?
Yeah, it's got the big wheel on the side,
I like that.
And it's got the V-shaped cooking grates that allows the grease to drip away from your fire. It's got a charcoal fire box kind of on the side where you can just load in coals and move them around as you need them. So it's got that real authentic Argentinian style grilling.
I saw one, my buddy Sandy Smith on Just Piddlin' Barbecue had one that he was demoing on YouTube one time. It was the Argentinian type thing. I'm sure I'm wrong about what they call this. I'm just going to call it the Argentinian type with the wheel. That's what I associate it with. He had on the right-hand side where, though, he put, is he the right hand or the left hand? He put wood and actually burned it down, Derrick,
Mm-hmm.
and then shoveled the coals and used the coals to cook with. It was really, something that you'd really have to work at if you're a pellet cooker now, like I am. You have no interest in that thing, but it would be kind of cool to cook on it once or twice just to that's kind of the ultimate fire management.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, it's kind of a personality thing. It's when people are like, what kind of grill should I get? It's like, well, how involved do you want to be?
Yeah.
And what are you looking for? And, a lot of people, it's like, I want to have the food. And a lot of people, it's, I want to have the experience. And some grills are going to require work. You're going to have to be really, really involved while you're cooking. And some, man, they just do it all for you. So, there's that whole kind of gambit of everything you can do. But, I mean, for me, it's, that love of the fire and having that chance to, just be in there, shoveling coals and doing all that.
What kind of
old school?
I'm sure you've got one to have. What kind of an offset cooker do you use?
I don't have one at the moment. I had a Horizon for a while. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what the status on them is. I don't think I've checked in on them in the past year. Made a pretty good offset, reasonably priced. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're talking about $1,000, $1,500 or something in there, but it was very heavy, solid steel.
When these companies contact you now, is it mostly pellet companies that are out there trying to develop a product or get a following? Because it just seems like everywhere you turn now, it's all about the pellet cookers. It's you just don't see a whole lot about other kind of stuff, at least in my circle.
I think that'll, particularly when we're talking about the big pellet companies, I think they're more into influencer marketing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not necessarily the sort of person that you want to go to for that, because you don't know what I'm going to say. Mm-hmm. I have that reputation of, if people send me a product, they're taking a certain gamble. And, for a lot of the big companies now, it's like, oh, well, we're going to send this to the people that love getting free stuff and we'll take lots of pictures.
Yeah.
and it's kind of sad, but
it defeats the purpose. I mean, if you're looking for a bona fide review of something, you got to give it the pros and the cons.
Yeah, it's always been kind of a hard space to get, some straightforward answers in. I mean, I've always found that, barbecue and grilling is like the most confused consumer base. I mean, the diehard fans, they know what they're talking about. They see the equipment, they talk about it. But for most of the people that go out making those sort of purchases, they do not know what they're getting themselves into. They don't know what they're buying. They don't know what the names are. And it's kind of a challenge to kind of be able to educate a large enough group of the people to make an influence.
Yeah. Derrick, thank you so much for being with us, man. You don't know how much I appreciate it. You're
thanks for having me on. Anytime you want to talk, I'm always here.
I sure appreciate it. We're going to let you go. Thanks for spending the time with us. And everybody, thank you for watching here on Facebook, too. I appreciate everybody, Al and Tom and all the guys that tune in and kind of make this kind of a fun Friday night thing. We'll be back next Friday night at 7. I've got these guys next Friday night. Let me tell you who they are real quick, because these guys are really funny. They are Lynn Aberman and Jeff Cohen, and they do a podcast called Barbecue and Baseball. And they'll be on next Friday night right here on Facebook and on Talk Radio 102.3 with us. And we'll be talking a little bit of barbecue and baseball with the time change, the warmer temperatures. I can't think of anything better to talk about than barbecue and baseball coming up next Friday night. And until next Friday night, Aaron, play the outro. Do we have a show close? Play the show open, and then we'll just go, and we'll just go out with that. Everybody, thanks for watching. See you next Friday night. Now, Brittany, why come that far to get your barbecue supplies?
Because you can't find any other seasons that's better than a Owl's Nest.
Brandon Moore, a local pitmaster. Brandon, what makes you buy all your barbecue supplies at the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply and Pro Shop?
Well, going to different stores, trying to find some good seasoning, man. And I had no luck. Just riding by one day, see the barbecue sign, and I stopped over and see we had some of the best products, man, and it's working for me. My customers love it. So,
welcome to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show live on Talk Radio 102.3 WGOW.